Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly Sunday share. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds for everyone to join me tonight. So tonight is all about 3D projects. I'm going to be showing you a Valentine's project. But before I do that, a few announcements. My hostess code for the month of January. Make sure you enter this if you place an order between $50 and $149.99. You'll earn some free products from me. And where's my other pile? My free card kit for the month of January. Anyone that places an order of any amount, you'll get all the pieces to create a card just like this one. This is using the tulips punch. And I have some Wink of Stella on there. You can see how shimmery that is. So this is for the month of January. And then my door prize for the month of January is a package of the Peaceful Poppies elements. And I'm actually going to be using this during my afternoon tea time in a card class on Wednesday if you don't belong to my group. Make sure you look for my Stampin' Ink Designs group on Facebook. Ask to join, and I'm going to show you how to use these elements to make 3 cards, starting with a simple card and going up to a really wow card. I wanted to do something different tonight. I have a lot of different swaps that I participated in using the Celebration catalog and the mini catalog. So I'm going to start out showing you some swaps, then I'm going to stamp, and then I'm going to show you more swaps at the end. So the swap that I'm showing you now, I believe there's about 8 cards in it, 7 or 8, is from my team. I did a team swap with all my team members. Let me bring the first one in, is using By the Dock. This was created by Barb Eichel. I love the way she did a wash for the water in the background. She colored the cat tails with a marker, and then all of these elements in the open oval. Isn't that pretty? Let me see, I'm going to lay the cards down and then I'll put the stamp sets aside. The next one is using the Beautiful Moment stamp set. I love all these images. I have this, but I haven't used it yet. This card is from Maggie Everett, and I like how she cut out the little seashell here. That's from another stamp set. I'm not sure which one, but she added the sentiment here and then layered the stamped image over us. I think that's the Starburst. Card number 3 is using the Honeybee stamp set, one of my favorites. I actually had a bingo event yesterday in my home, and the theme of my bingo event was the honeybee. I had a lot of honey and bee related items. This is from Cindy Milton. She used the background paper that you can earn for free in Celebration, added some gold inked bees to the background. And then this was from one of our kits, I believe. I can't remember the overlay there. So that's card number 3. Number 4 is using the My Meadow stamp set. I had a lot of fun using this week. I haven't shown my cards yet. It's so, it's challenging to try to set up just a really pretty scenery. You have so much to play with. And this card is from Kathy Davenport. She did a great job creating this beautiful background on her card. I love her trees, the way they stand in the background there, and then the little bridge in the front. The next one is the Gangs All Mere, a little perfect stamp set to use for kids or for a giggle. I think this is one of the cutest stamp sets. This one is from Gloria Folsom, and I like the way she added the little birthday hats on each one of them. Isn't that pretty? And then with a nice paper to coordinate in the background. Card number 6 is the Little Ladybug stamp set, which is a hostess stamp set you can earn for free. This one is from Lori Austin, and she used the subtle embossing folder in the background after she stamped the flower. I love the way that looks in the flower. And then of course the cute little ladybug and the layered sentiment. And the last one is mine, of course. I used the lovely Lily Pad stamp set on my swap. And this is the card I created. I added this little die cut border at the bottom of my my square. And then if you haven't used this stamp set yet, these are reversible. You just reverse to the back side, and it stamps the shadow on the front to color your flower. So there's my first swap. This was just a small one. So at the end of the video, I'm going to show you some more swap cards. So now tonight, I am using the Heartfelt stamp set, which coordinates with, let me see, I didn't dig out my other punch because I'm not using that one. The heart punch pack. I'm using the one with the scallops tonight. I'm not using this one, but these actually layer on top of each other. And I'm also using the From My Heart specialty designer paper. I used a lot of this paper. I have more coming. You can see here I just have a little sample on the bottom for the last square because I used it all before I got my sheet all done. So you can see all the pretty patterns. These two right here coordinate with the punches, so you can punch a whole bunch of hearts with it. So let me go ahead and bring in my project. So tonight I am using 2 Ghirardella dark chocolates. I hope I don't eat them before I finish my project. And this is what I'm creating to put the chocolate. So 2 chocolates fit inside. They just slide right out. I added designer paper to each one. And you can see that I made sides to my treat holder. Let me just put these back in. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do tonight. And because there's so many pieces, oh, I love all the hearts, you guys. You guys like this, huh? Isn't that cute? So because there's so many pieces, I've gone ahead and cut most of them ahead of time, and I'll tell you what they are. So the 2 Whisper White circles are with the 1-inch circle punch. And then the 1 1/8 scallop circle, I've got 2 with basic black and 2 with gray granite. We're also going to need the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. Now this is the designer paper. I had already cut up my whole sheet. So as you can see, you cut that out with the scallop punch. That's from the designer paper sheets. Now, something really cute is the little buttons. And you know what? I don't even think I took the stamp set out that goes with this. And the little belt buckle. Let me grab. You know what? I have it sitting over here because I have a swap card that goes with it. I think it's this one. Yes. So the Dress to Impress, I have a pretty card to show you from one of my swaps. Inside these dies, you can see there's 3 sizes of the buttons. So that's what I used for my eyes. Doesn't that make a cute eyeball for the little owl? And then this little piece right here actually cuts the belt for the 3D project that goes with this set. So I've got 2 little belt buckles there. And I only need 1 for my little owl tonight. So let me go ahead and give you the sizes of paper. This is gray granite, 5.5 by 5 1/4. Now the designer paper, I'm using 2. Those are going to go over the chocolates to make them pretty. Those are 4 1/4 by 1.5, so you need 2 of those. And then this one for the front of the box is 3 inches by 2 1/4. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is cover the little chocolates. So I'm just going to wrap that around. It just makes it so much prettier to cover that label on the front. Okay, so there's my first one. And you could always add hearts to the front if you wanted to, but I opted to leave them the way they are because the paper is so pretty anyway. Okay, so there's number 2. Now I opted to make mine pink only because I have 2 granddaughters. So, okay, next step. We're going to use the gray granite, and I did emboss it after I cut and scored it. And I used the Mosaic embossing folder. That's the only time I'm going to use the Big Shot tonight. So now I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. On the 5.5 inch side, I'm going to score at 1/4 inch 2.5, 2 3/4, and 5. So let me repeat that. 1/4 inch, 2.5, 2 3/4, and 5. Oh, I need to flip it over to the other side. I've got one more measurement. On the 5 1/4 inch side, we're just going to score at 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to go ahead and score on all the fold lines. It just makes it easier when I do my embossing. The lines will already be folded. The reason I didn't emboss first is sometimes when you emboss, it shrinks your paper. So I wanted to make sure everything was scored first. That way it'll shrink all together in one swoop and you won't be left with an odd measurement on the end. Now the 1/4 inch is a little tricky to fold sometimes because it's so small. You know what, I'm thinking this is too long. I did this the wrong way. Hold on, I gotta get another piece of paper. I went the wrong direction. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly cut another piece of paper. So scratch that. So 5 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we want the 5 1/4 to start out first, not the 5 1/2. Let me just make sure on that. I didn't write my notes. Yeah, see? Let me think for a minute. Because I did the 5 1/2. Okay, so let's try this again. So live video, of course, if you make a mistake, you gotta fix it live too, right? So the measurements are still the same. 1/4 inch, 2 1/2, 2 1/4, and 5. Flip it over, and we're gonna do 1/4. And this should be the right length. There we go. I just had my paper turned the wrong way. Now let me go ahead. I'm actually going to cut this time before I fold. I'm going to cut the little tiny square off at the bottom. There's a tab, and there's a tab. Let's see if I can do this right this time. Okay, and there's one more on this side. And then we've got the little 1/4 inch. So the reason I did the 1/4 inch is because of the thickness of the chocolates. Okay, now I'm going to bring the Big Shot in just to do the embossing. I'm going to stick the whole thing in there. It doesn't even matter if it's straight because these are all curvy lines. You'll notice I have a little purple mark on my folder. That means I need to use the purple plate over the top. Denise is telling me to slow down. Denise, you probably missed the very beginning. I messed up, so I had to redo it. So everything's way at the beginning as far as the measurements and how to fold. I was just quickly redoing it because I did it wrong. Okay, so here's all of my score lines. Now, I have the 1/4 inch on the end. I'm going to add tear and tape. And then I'm also going to add tear and tape just to one little section on the bottom. Now I'm going to remove the backing. And before I glue this in place, I'm going to actually bring in the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. I'm going to use the guidelines right here and cut a circle within, and that's going to make the shape of the head at the top. I just need to go a little deeper, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and that gives you the shape of the head at the top. Now we can go ahead, fold this down, and glue these together on top of each other. I'm trying to turn so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so those just go on top of each other. So you can see now that we have a little box forming. Now we're going to put the 2 little tabs on the inside. Fold this one. Whoops, this one's not the one with the glue. The one with the glue goes down first, and then this one goes over it. And that seals our box. So look how quick that was. Now we're ready to decorate. I'm going to bring in my snail. I'm going to add a lot of snail only because we have the embossing on the front. Let's see. I just want to make sure everything's nice and tight. This is going to go even with the bottom. And then I'm going to take some tear and tape and go around the whole thing. And that's where my little belt and the little belt buckle is going to go. And where is my ribbon? So the ribbon I'm using today is the double stitch satin ribbon. It's in real red. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing. And I'm actually going to start about here, but not press down this front piece. I'm going to go around the whole thing first, because I want to put my belt buckle on there before I push this down. Okay, now here's the little belt buckle. So now I can go ahead and trim this piece off. And then we're going to add the belt buckle. So I'm just going to thread that through. And then I'll just trim it where I want it. So to add that, to glue that down, I'm actually going to use glue dots. So I'm going to put 2 glue dots down, press that in place, and then trim this a little bit shorter. So there's my cute little belt buckle. Isn't that neat? Okay, now let's go ahead and build the rest of our owl. So these are going to be used for the 2 hands. When I first did this, it looked kind of silly without the hands there. It was just too plain. So I thought by folding those over, they look like little hands holding the sign. So let's go ahead and stamp using real red ink. That's going to go right in the center of the heart. Okay, now let's do the eyes. So for the eyes, we're going to start out with the black pieces, the basic black that I told you how to cut at the beginning. We're going to layer that with Whisper White. And there's just enough on the outside to give it a little pop of black to make the white stand out. And then next, we're going to make him a little cross-eyed by adding the black buttons. And I added those real close to the edge. Okay, now let's bring this back in. And I'm going to glue those down with Stamping Dimensionals. You know, I ended up shifting everything over, and as usual, my counter is a complete disaster. So I hope I can find all the swap cards I'm supposed to show you. Okay, and we're going to put this eye right there. I'm gonna add the heart. Now for the heart, I'm just gonna add glue to half of it because half of it sticks out and you don't want it to be all sticky. I'm gonna tuck it under the ribbon and under the eye. Actually, my ribbon is pretty tight. Let's see if I can lift it up some to slide some of it in there. Okay, so now all I have left to do, and then yes, this cuts 2, so you'll have 1 left over if you're gonna do more than 1 of these. So what I did is I actually just folded these in half. And I'm gonna add a whole bunch of snail. So this one goes right on the edge of the heart, and it looks like he's holding it in place. And then the other one's gonna go on the opposite side. And we're just gonna put that right there. And then trim this side because it is a little too long. There, now we're ready to insert our little chocolates on the inside. So there's one. And like I said, you could decorate the front if you wanted to also. And there's number 2. So there you go. Whoops, let me press this down. So there's owl number 2. So what do you think of that? Once you get the measurements right, don't follow my first steps that I showed you. Make sure you watch the whole video and go to the second part where I didn't mess up. Now, let me get those swaps. Just give me a second to get organized. Okay, I think I have them all. I have them all showing with each stamp set, so you'll know what goes with what. Okay, so my first one, I have 2 cards. Again, using the honeybee stamp set. This is the first one. We got the designer paper. Look at the cute little honeycomb die cuts and the little scalloped edge. And this one is from, I can't read that, it's too light. These are all from demonstrators. Here's the second one. Now this one is pretty neat. I made a card like this with my paper pumpkin kit. So you untie the ribbon and then this flap, this is one card, and then it folds over on this flap and so it opens up on this side. And because I moved everything, I don't know who created this one either. I probably lost all my names. My next stamp set to feature is the Heartfelt, which I just used for the class. The first card, this one is from Joey Hartman, and she used the Country Floral. No, she didn't. This is the Parisian Flourish. I have another card that used the other one. So the Parisian Flourish embossing folder, and then the little swirl from, I don't remember what that one is from. It's from the poppies set, the painted poppies set, and she did that in gold foil. Here's another one using the same stamp set. This one is from Pam Findlay, and she used the designer paper that we cut out with the punch, and then our cute little faceted gems that I love. Look how small these ones are, and they just sparkle. They're so pretty. Next up is the Bonanza Buddies. I have one card using this set. This is using the Coastal Weave embossing folder on the background and the coordinating designer paper. And we've got our little koala bear. Very cute. And she had added a little gem there on the pom-pom. Next up is Dress to Impress. And this one is from Lori Healing. Now, this one is really cute. It's got like a little storefront, and this is a little awning. So when you stand it up, it sticks out. I've seen cards, but this is so cute. She's got a little shoe box there for her shoes. Next up is the Timeless Tropical. I have 2 cards using that one. This is the first one, again using the Coastal Weave embossing folder. And then our cute little crinkled ribbon. And I love the way she did the flower. It looks like she sponged it. I keep saying she. Now this one is from Danny Hussey. The next one using this same is from Ann Walker. Same embossing folder on the background, the coastal weave. And then she did the pineapple die cuts with all the little flowers. And then the little tropical gem there. That's really cute. I feel like I'm missing some cards. No, maybe that was it. So mine is the last one. I used the Layered with Kindness stamp set, which has 2 coordinating punches with it. And this is my card. I did the background, stamped it first, added a little sliver of the Bonanza birthday paper, designer paper. And then I did this sentiment twice. I did it first with white embossing powder on lovely lipstick. And then I stamped it again and cut it out with the second coordinating punch and layered those. So those are all of my swap cards. These were from the Control Freaks group that I belong to. So let me just spread those out a little bit. And then I'll bring in my treat holders for you that I just created. So I hope you enjoyed my projects for today. Sorry about the measurement mess up at the beginning, but you can always go back and listen to the video again and write down the correct position of your cardstock. Thanks for joining me tonight, everyone. I will see you again on Wednesday on my Stampin' Ink Designs group for my afternoon tea time and a card at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good week, everyone.